Hi everyone, welcome to the Stitches and Scribbles channel. My name is Erin and I've got a crafting podcast for you here today. If you're new to the channel, every month I post 2 podcast episodes that are just sit down and talking style videos, not tutorials or vlogs. So I refer to them as podcasts, but one of them is always craft focused and one of them is always reading focused. So this is the craft one. I started the reading podcasts at the beginning of 2024, I think. So we're now in year 2 of talking about books here on this channel. But since I'm now a school librarian, it only made sense to start including that as part of my online presence as well. So if you are here for the crafting things, you are in the right place. If you would like to see a reading episode, go back to the previous one to see everything I read in January and books that I got for Christmas. Speaking of Christmas, that is going to be the focus of today's podcast episode as well. I know that we're now well past the Christmas season, but it's the first crafting podcast of 2025, which is crazy to me. So we'll be talking about Christmas crafty things in this episode. I am filming this on December 30th. I usually film both podcast episodes in the same day, so it gets posted quite a bit after when I film it for the craft ones usually. But that gives me a great opportunity to sometimes talk about stuff that's coming up on the channel, things like that, because I'm a little bit removed from what's actually happening. Yeah, I don't know if any of that made sense, but let's talk about crafts. So, as far as finished objects, excuse me, as far as finished objects for the month, this is pretty much it. This is my advent cowl that I made with all of my scraps from the year. I rolled them all into little balls and then put them in my advent calendar that's sitting behind me. It's an old candle advent calendar from Aldi. And then I got to unbox one every day and add it to my project. I did some sneaky filming with this. A lot of those shorts were actually pre-filmed significantly, and I would do them in batches, so I wasn't quite opening a box every day. It was more like I do 2 to 5 at a time and then take a break for a while, just because of my busy schedule with working at school and even after school for some school events that were going on. So it was a way for me to still participate in Vlogmas without fully committing to it, because I knew that that was not going to happen this year. So it was, I think, a good happy medium. I'll probably do something similar in 2025. So if you have any ideas for that, let me know down below. My only other finished object for the month is another cowl. I wasn't super happy with how this one turned out, so I am most likely going to frog it. But this was my attempt at doing a knit version of the bandana cowls that I've been doing quite frequently here on the channel. So I don't actually, now that it's on, I realize it's on over my other cowl. I don't hate it. I think it just needs to be blocked because the ends are curling up. So I have since started a different one that has a different stitch other than stockinette for the main body, and I think that's going to turn out a little bit better. But I think maybe I just need to block this one and then it'll be fine. I was kind of sad that I finished it and then didn't wear it for Christmas, because it's a very Christmassy yarn. This is one of the Hobie Christmas Universe sock yarns. It was very fun to work with. I liked all the colors. I actually really liked the pop of pink in there with all the Christmas colors, but definitely needs to be blocked so that that bottom edge stops turning up. So we'll try that and see how it goes. Maybe I can wear it then next year. Since we already talked about works in progress, maybe I'll go ahead and dive into that. So the aforementioned cowl that I'm working on, I just caused an avalanche back here, don't mind me, is this. So I'm not super far into it. I can't even find, there's the point separated by those little stitch markers. But I'll give you a close-up of the stitch. So this was in the stitch dictionary I looked at, was called the Beehive Waffle stitch. Come on, camera focus. So it's actually a pretty easy stitch to do, fairly relaxing and meditative. Then the yarn I'm doing this in is Barocco Socks in color 14237. It does not have a name. This is what it looks like in the cake. Has a little picture of what it would look like worked up into a sock. Obviously mine is not going to look self-striping. It's going to look variegated because the number of stitches I have is too high for the stripes to fully appear. But I knew that going into this project. I just really liked the caramel tones with the bright yellow and the teal, and there's some like charcoaly gray in there. It was a good mix of colors I wear normally with bright pops of color, which is why I picked it originally. I think it was also on clearance at my local yarn store. Another great reason for purchasing yarn. But I started with a 1x1 rib for the top of it, and then went into the beehive waffle stitch. I am hoping for this to be a tutorial on my channel, just like I did a couple of the crochet bandana cowls. I'd like to do a couple knit ones, but the knit ones, the math is taking me a little bit longer to figure out. The shaping is slightly different. You can see I've got crazy stitch marker situations. This isn't too bad as far as stitch markers. I have one to count rows and one for my increase stitches, but hopefully sometime soon you can get a tutorial for that one. I actually already have the yarn I'm hoping to use in the tutorial, which I think will be, well, I've got one more work in progress to talk about. So since I finished my star blanket last time, I threw it over the back of my basement couch. Really love how it looks, to the point of where I now have plans to, I have one in progress that I'm working on, and plans to make at least 2 more star blankets. One of them is not for me. The rest of them are definitely for me. But I'll dive into those first. So, first of all, the one that I am working on actively is a more plain star-shaped blanket. This is really just double crochets in between the increases. I just got a whiff of the yarn, which was a little crazy. I'll explain why this yarn smells a little funky. So this is a tutorial from the Bella Coco YouTube channel. I am now forgetting exactly what she called it, but it's a star blanket on the Bella Coco channel, so shouldn't be too hard to find. I can picture what it looks like in the thumbnail. It was striped and I think had like yellow bobble stitches around the edge or something like that. She shows it in a multicolored blanket. Mine is all the same yarn. And I have had this yarn in my stash for a really long time. So for those of you who don't know, I used to be a vendor at a local farmer's market before I went back to a full-time job in education. And the funny thing about working at farmers markets and being a knitter and a crocheter is sometimes people will just give you stuff, like craft things that they've had in their basements for years and don't want anymore. So I ended up with a couple of craft supply gifts from people who had purchased things from me, which I found very funny. But there was a very nice lady who came, it must have been a couple years ago at this point, and told me that she had a bag of yarn in her basement that she knew was 100% wool, was undyed, like told me the whole story of it, that it was marled together from 2 different colors of sheep, and that she didn't know what to do with it but knew it was good yarn, so she wanted to give it to somebody. So I said, like, yeah, sure, I'll take a look at it. So she proceeded to give me an insane amount of this yarn. I have like, I used one skein, I'm on the second one, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little skeins of this, plus this giant cone down here that is probably the amount of yarn that the rest of the little cakes are. So I have an insane amount of this. The reason why I said it smells funny is, as a lot of raw wool yarn does, it smells like a barn. Plus about 10 years of basement. So as I've been working on this, the smell has gotten a little funkier. Not so much that it bothers me. It really only bothers me if I like pick it up and move it around. But while I'm working on it, it's pretty much fine. But I will definitely be throwing this in a wool wash when I'm done. I have a lovely lavender scented one that I'm hoping will take some of the smell away. But my couch in my living room is like a light beige kind of tan color, so I thought that this would be pretty draped over it, and just to add another blanket to that space. One of the other star blankets I want to make is with yarn that's in stash. I'm not going to pull it out right now, but I've had several iterations of trying to make a blanket with this green velvet yarn that I bought forever ago, and they have never turned out the way I want them, so I always abandon them and frog it and start again later. I'm hoping this will be the final version of it. I saw that Fiber Spider has a tutorial for a granny stitch star blanket, so I think that that is probably what I will use. And that one will go over, again, the back of my living room couch, but during the holidays to add some forest green into that space. But moving on, I have both crafty stuff I got for Christmas and a little bit of a yarn haul of yarn that I purchased. So I'm gonna go through this bag and kind of try to go in chronological order of when I got stuff, so it won't be all the Christmas things together or like gift things together versus stuff I bought. It'll be the order that it's in the bag, which is kind of in chronological order. So first we will start with a purchase I made. We'll put that off to the side for now because that's something else. I went to my local yarn store pretty early in December. I think it was December 1st or 2nd, if not like the last day of November, and decided to just kind of have a treat yourself day and get some yarn. So I ended up leaving with a lot of Emma's yarn, which is probably one of my favorite indie dyers to work with. Pulling it all out of the bag. But I left with quite a bit. Now I did purchase this. We're gonna stop crinkling the bag. I did purchase these with the intent to use them for tutorials, so you'll kind of see that they're all fairly light in color. But I wanted to find things that would show up well on camera where I could still showcase kind of fun yarns. Like I've said before, I've been doing that crochet cowl series and I wanted to do some knit cowls. So these are hopefully going to be tutorial yarns for knitted versions of the like bandana cowl style. So the first one, which is the one that I will probably be using for that beehive waffle stitch one, is Emma's yarn in the Practically Perfect sock yarn, and the color is called Bee's Knees. I'll hold it up nice and close to the camera and block my face. So it's definitely a like honey tan color with flecks of black and orange and some speckles that even look pink or slightly purplish. But I thought this color was really pretty and such a great neutral. I have been leaning into the like caramely brown color quite a bit, so this was kind of just a more faded version of that, but I really liked all the little speckles. I think this would look really pretty up against charcoal gray, which of course is what I'm wearing right now, but also against shades of brown or even yellow. I thought this was quite an interesting colorway. The next one that I got, and these are all the Practically Perfect sock, by the way. This one is called Lake Totally. Instead of Like Totally, it's Lake Totally. Do this one up close again. So this one is mostly that like minty teal color with sections of like a golden yellow and pink speckles to it. There are some yellow sections that are almost like orangey, but I really liked this one. And my school colors are blue and yellow, so I tend to gravitate towards blue and yellows. It's also my the colors of the college I went to. So this was like kind of close to spirit wear colors for me, which I really liked, but definitely a little bit different than the like navy blue and golds that we usually go to. I liked that it had a light blue in there. The next ones that I got were displayed together. So this is a single skein and some minis. This one, I think I can get multiple projects out of it, so I might make a bandana cowl and like a matching hat or a headband, or like a cowl, a headband, and maybe socks, because I think I might have enough yarn to do that. Maybe. I'm not really sure. These are all 20-gram minis. So the color names are Love and Leche, which is this pastel teal color. Pure, which is the bright, vibrant blue. It's Not Easy Being Green is this lighter green with some speckles in it. Legal Tender is the dark green. Ice Ice Baby is this aqua color. This one does not have a color name, but it's this bright pink with speckles. And then this one is called Cactus Flower, the really bright hot pink. And then the full-size skein is the December 2024 Sock Club colorway. So it kind of has all of the colors of the minis twisted into it. I did talk to the store. This was not a mini set that was put together by Emma. They just made this out of minis that they had been sent from her, and just picked ones that matched the full-size skein. So those are all of my purchases from Cream City Yarn. You'll probably see them in some upcoming tutorials. The sock yarn that I put off to the side was actually gifted to me by a family from the school that I work at, and the mom used to work at the school as well. She doesn't anymore, but she's also a knitter, so she got me yarn for Christmas as my teacher thank you gift. This is Malabrigo sock in color 722 Fortaleza, I think is the color name. Yep, Fortaleza. It is this beautiful, I'm gonna squish it over my face so that it focuses. Beautiful deep purple with some magentas, some teals, some like navies, and an almost black. And I was super excited about this color because I noticed now that I'm back at school, I don't have a lot of purple clothes. And you might be wondering, you just said your school colors are blue and yellow. Why does it matter if you have purple? I work at a Catholic school, and during Advent, I was trying to wear purple clothes because purple is the color for Advent, and I didn't have any. So adding some purple to my wardrobe was already on the list, so I think this will make a really nice bandana, cowl, or little scarf, something as well. This will not be one used for a tutorial because you will not be able to see me working on it on camera because it's so dark, but it'll be nice for testing out a design for a pattern. I just totally scooted my camera when I did that. All right, moving on to things I actually got for Christmas. So, my in-laws were really awesome with Christmas gifts. If you watched the previous reading podcast, they got me some books to read, but they also got me the Taylor Swift crochet kit, which I just hit myself in the face. Was very excited about. It includes everything to make the little Taylor doll with the surprise song dress and the guitar. It also includes the safety eyes, the crochet hook, all the yarn needle, the stuffing, and the book for the pattern. So I'm very excited to make this. I will probably have the box on display in the background of videos until I get a chance to actually work on it. So for now, she can sit right here, but I'm really excited to make that. Actually, even after she's done, she'll probably end up living on my yarn shelf back there, just because she's so cute. And as you will be able to tell by now, I'm going to continue to do some Taylor Swift related crafty things on this channel. By now you should have seen the bullet journal video that I did for the first 3 months of the year. If not, it should be the video immediately before this one chronologically. Up next, I ended up gifting some yarn this year because of something my husband asked for Christmas, but I didn't have enough time to make it. So he asked for a bow tie that would match his construction vest that he wears sometimes for work, because he always wears bow ties on Fridays. If you didn't know that, that's why one of the patterns in my Etsy shop is called the Friday bow tie. And so for the rare occasions where it's a Friday and he's wearing the construction vest, he wanted a neon bow tie to wear with his vest. And this ended up working out perfectly. So he's going to have 2 of them. His parents also managed to find a neon bow tie that's orange. And his construction vest, as most construction vests are, is neon yellow with orange and then reflective silver stripes. Because I make bow ties for him, decided to knit him one, but the yarn didn't come in time. So I gifted him a ball of yarn with a note on it that says future bow tie. So this is the Regia sock yarn in color number 02090. So just a very vibrant yellow. So I will be making that for him as soon as I have time to do so. Up next is stuff from my husband. He gifted me 2 crochet books. So the first one is Dark and Dramatic Mosaic Crochet by Alexis Sixel, who's the creator of Sixel Designs. I have made one of her patterns before. She's known for these really beautiful mosaic crochet designs, usually with kind of a dark and spooky theme, but also some just kind of home decor type themes as well. But these are really fun patterns to work on, and I liked that for all of the mosaic motifs in this book, she also has a pattern for a finished object using that motif. So I'm very excited to try out some more of these. I'm hoping to get maybe some Halloween throw pillows with these designs, because I have some Christmassy throw pillows, or at least like wintry throw pillows right now, but I don't have Halloween ones. And since we host a Halloween party every year, I think that needs to be on my list. The next one he got me is the Crochet Impkins book. This is by Megan Lapp, who is the creator of Crafty Intentions, and she also wrote the Dragon Amigurumi book that I got a couple months ago, and there should be an upcoming video where I work on something from there that I pre-filmed quite a while ago. But he got me the Impkins book, which is a modular crochet book. So you get, the patterns are in chunks. So there's like a whole section of all of the different body options first. And then you can go into like all the different head options and ears and extra limbs and hats so that you can build your own little critter. I thought that this would be super fun for Ren Fair costumes because I could make a little shoulder guy to go with any of my costumes, and those seem to be what gets me the most attention at the Renaissance Fair, is any sort of little creature that I have as part of my costume. So I'm really excited to try that. I love the little mushroom guy that's on the cover. I know that I made a mushroom little friend for one of my other costumes, but I like this one so much better, so he might be getting an upgrade. Sorry, little mushroom guy. Now we are down to things that I purchased, and we're also coming back full circle to the final star blanket. So the star blanket that I made, if you haven't seen it, go back to the previous crafting podcast video. It should be episode 97, where I showed the finished one. I did it in yarn I just had in my stash, but I used white for the center, and because of the specific pattern I used, it was one of the 6-day star blankets. I believe it's the Superstar version. It has more points than the regular star blanket does. But I used white for the center, so the center ended up looking kind of like a snowflake, and my mom really liked that. So she wants one as well, and I happened to go to Joann and saw that there was a lot of yarn that was on sale. So I went ahead and got yarn to make her a star blanket with that white center specifically for her sunroom at my parents' house. So we've got color 1, which is just called white. It's kind of a warm white. There was definitely a cool white option as well, but this is just labeled as white. And this is the Big Twist Value Pound Plus, which I picked because it was on sale and I knew I would not have to go back for additional colors. This is the same yarn in the color Varsity Green. This is the color of their couch cushions in that room. And then she also has a lot of like floral motifs, so it's a lot of like roses and peonies and like a soft pink color. So then to go with those colors, I got light rose, which is a pale pink. Gonna balance that carefully. And the color cream, which to me looks beige, but it's labeled as cream. And I'm not going to put that one on top because I'm afraid of the whole stack falling over, so it's going back in the bag. But that's it for crafty things I got for Christmas. Talking about crafts, talked about some plans. In the next crafting podcast episode, I'll talk about some of my crafting goals for 2025. I just knew that it would be too long to try to do all of that in this episode. So you can look forward to that next time once I kind of gather what my plans are going to be. I realize February, and especially late in February, is kind of a weird time to announce goals for 2025, but I figured what's the harm in taking it slow for the first couple months. So we'll talk about that next time. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw today, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below so that you can be notified of all my videos right here on YouTube. And if you would like to follow me on other social media platforms, that information will be in the description box below. Thanks again for watching. Leave a comment down below. Tell me the crafty things you got for Christmas or things that you treated yourself to during the Christmas season. I'd love to hear it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.